So 195,000 California voters were registered on Tuesday, and they have registered 1.8 million new so far this year. 42% were registered um, Tuesday, and more than most were 17 to 25-year-olds. So, it's great. All these new voters have been registered in California. Wonderful. I'm not sure if that is just new voters, or if that includes people who are changing their party affiliation, which is also pretty good since California is semi-open or closed, however they call it. If you're in California, you should need it to have been registered as of the 23rd as a Democrat or a non-party preference. But the next big thing is making sure we actually get out the vote, right? It's great. We registered all these people. Woohoo! Wonderful. Now make sure everyone either early votes or gets to the polls. And if you are a non-party preference person, make sure you request a Democratic ballot. Otherwise, you will not be able to vote for Bernie Sanders. And I think that that's something that people started catching on a little later, but in some of the earlier races, folks didn't really understand that it was on us to not only inform people about Bernie Sanders and organize, but also get out the vote in our areas and communities, because a lot of the organizations that normally do get out the vote type stuff, they're not moving until after this is all done. They're not even going to lift a finger. The other thing I just saw earlier today about California might have also been a Bernie email too. Bernie is like within 2%, I think, of Hillary Clinton in a new poll statewide. And one of my friends was telling me in Northern California, where she's at, he actually just inched past her. So whatever everybody's doing out in California, if you're out in California, you have people out in California, keep up the great work. Keep pounding the pavement. Keep raising awareness. If you're organizing students, please make sure that if they are no longer on campus on June 7th, they either early vote. And the best thing for students, early vote. If you're a student, go early vote. If you register whatever you need to do for your mail-in ballot, do whatever you got to do to make sure that you're able to vote properly on June 7th. So let's turn to the main topics of the day. So I'll turn it to you guys. We got emails, we got debate.
I wanted to say something about the voting. I was like, since we've been dealing with a lot of these voting issues, I think it's important that everybody realize, hey, perhaps it's time at the convention, if you're a delegate, to get out there and try to promote rules such as open primaries in all states. And here's my reasoning why. There is no reason for anyone to be excluded from voting in any primary other than voting more than one time. What I mean by that is you can't vote for both sides. You just be able to vote one time in one place. And the reason why I say that is the voting process itself is paid for by the taxpayers. The idea that you can tax everybody to pay for voting but then restrict who actually gets to vote for the candidate, it doesn't make any sense. If you're going to do that, then the Democratic Party and people who are registered as Democrats can pay for their own election. But if everybody's going to pay for it, then everybody should be able to vote without all these preconditions. It should just be purely open.
No, we have closed elections because it's our party and we can do what we want to, however we want to, and you don't get to come in here and tell us what we're doing wrong or right. You either just need to be a Dem or not have anything to say about it. That's basically, that's basically the attitude, right? I absolutely agree with you, Nick. I do think that we should just want people to be involved in the process. And this notion that, I think I understand to some extent because we're also talking about who's going to be the leader, who gets to make decisions about what the party platforms and stuff are. So I can understand the protective nature, like when you think about it like, a social club. But this isn't a social club, right? This is something that affects everybody. And like you're saying, Nick, our tax dollars, we all pay into this system, but only a select people want to keep, decision-making authority and power. So, Solomon, I think you were going to say something.
I just have to say just two things. This might just evolve into a rant on 538. I don't know if you guys do that as much as I enjoy doing it or watching TOIT do it. But one is that the campaign from the people I talked to in the digital visions in the Sanders campaign, they're quite certain that they're in the lead, that these polls are very underpolling, because California is in a way a lot like Michigan in that there hasn't been a lot of pivotal primaries in California, and so they don't have very good turnout models for California state Democratic primaries, and they also don't have one specifically for this one when there's been such a giant voter drive to get people out to vote. And so if people do get out to vote, I think it's not going to be a very close race. They're most likely expecting closer to something we saw in Oregon, possibly even more. But the other thing I was going to say is that if that happens, it would close the popular vote a lot, and finally get rid of this argument I keep seeing in 538 and Nate Silver's Twitter, in their Twitter messages and in their articles about Hillary Clinton having 3 million more votes than Bernie Sanders, which is not true to begin with. But just getting rid of that, I want that to go away.
Anything. I don't know who was. So I don't know who posted the tweet in the Slack earlier, but basically Sean King went kind of ham. Maybe David Grossman might have also responded to 538 to Nate as well, but kind of went ham a little bit about this notion that, because they've been very slanted towards Hillary Clinton, even when they've been wrong, right? Like they've been very slanted towards her, and then supposedly caucuses are biased against her and they favor Bernie Sanders.